talk about Manchester United, shall we, boys? Especially as it relates to the summer transfer window. First things first, it seems like they're heavily interested in Crescencio Summerville for £50 million. Robbo?
Yes. He had a very good time at Leeds for a season when they got promoted. He went to West Ham. He obviously got relegated this season with West Ham, but he had some good moments. He was one of their best players. He's a player that's got lots of pace. We saw him at the World Cup score a goal for the Dutch. He plays mainly on the right-hand side. He's got pace. He can go past people. He can score a goal. Is he worth £50 million? Will he make Manchester United a top team? I'm not so sure.
Shaka, he's putting down one of your hammers.
Yeah, no, listen, I think Summerville started a little bit slowly for West Ham and then got better as the season went on. And I think that's where the valuation comes from. At 24 years old, can't really call him a youngster that much anymore, but he's certainly trending well for Manchester United. And if they do get him, and he continues to progress as he has, I think he can prove to be a very good signing indeed. I quite like this one.
Rob, if you're going to compare him to Amad Diallo, who has scored quite a brilliant goal for Cote d'Ivoire in the World Cup right now, who are you taking?
I like Diallo. I think he's a good player. I think he's obviously been at Manchester. He went on loan, but been at Manchester United, and when he plays, I think he's changed the team on occasions. Is Summerville better than him? I wouldn't say so at the moment. No.
So you're sticking with Amad?
I'm going to stick with Amad.
All right, well, let's move on now to probably the biggest transfer story at Manchester United right now, and that is what happens with Marcus Rashford. Now, apparently he's made it known that if he doesn't get the transfer to Barcelona, he wants to see out his current United contract, which has 2 more years left. Now, his contract includes a hefty £40 million release clause. Now, the €30 million buy option expired yesterday. So what happens here, Shaka?
Right now, I got the feeling that Marcus Rashford is at least going to start the season back at Manchester United. Rashford commands quite a hefty salary. You're not sure how many clubs are going to take that option. I thought Barcelona would. Given his role for Barcelona last season, not a starter, but coming off the bench and giving option. And then once Barcelona kind of passed on that and were more willing to spend $80 million on Anthony Gordon, you just got the feeling that something wasn't quite right, that he wasn't as good a fit as maybe you would think, given some of his performances. And that is a little bit alarming for anybody looking in from the outside who are considering spending that kind of money, at least in wages, on Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, Robert, Marcus Rashford became quite a revelation at Barcelona. Do you think Michael Carrick can somehow integrate him back into United?
Well, you're a big fan of Manchester United. That tattoo will tell everybody that. Will the fans like him back? Would the fans accept him coming back?
I would accept him back.
Yeah, because there was a lot of times in the last couple of years when he was at Manchester United when he didn't play particularly well and he didn't look as though he was enjoying his football, didn't look as though he was trying on certain occasions.
But you can argue that the environment also contributed.
Yeah, so the environment wasn't quite right for him, but that's no excuse not to be running around and trying. And he was sulking quite a lot of the time. I think it would be very, very difficult for him to go back to Manchester United. But from Marcus Rashford's point of view, he's got to play football. He's had a couple of years where he didn't play football. He's only been a substitute for Barcelona on many occasions. He might have to take a wage. Don't worry about the wages. I'm sure he's got lots of money. Go and make sure you play for 2 or 3 years and be the best player you possibly can be, wherever there is. I don't think it will be at Manchester United.
But, Robert, you know this game as well as anybody. Marcus Rashford scores 3 or 4 goals in the...
I think in the first 5 minutes they were a bit lacklustre and they weren't at it. But I think that's what you do in big games. You get yourself so worked up. Certain games, you get yourself too hyped up before the game. Maybe the night before you're not sleeping correctly because you're just so excited for the game. You can see all the players are honest players. I always say this, people doubt English players or whether they care, whether they really want to be out there. I'm telling you, every player that gets to that top level loves and cares about the game. It's not, money and all this, like whatever. They love every minute of being out on that pitch. And we have to care for them, we have to support them. And the boys, we've got so much technical ability, they're outstanding players. And, in that first 5 minutes, they probably were a little bit over, nerves, anxiety, and just wanted to do so well, wanted to be so honest and do well and get about the pitch, and made so many mistakes. But they turned it around and they showcased their talents and their individual ability and their collective ability. And Tuchel, fair play to him, He's got us at it. And I'm telling you, we got a chance of winning this World Cup, 100%.
Really important, and that was some of the most exciting attacking football we've seen from an England side at a major tournament in as long as I can remember. And we loved it, and I'm sure you did, but I wonder if you have concerns about maybe defensively at the same time.
No, I love the second half, all of it. I love the reaction to a very complicated first half, but as you said, I mean, we played against a top opponent. I think we showed a bit of nerves. Maybe we wanted to overdo it, but we clearly overthought our decisions. It took us too long to take decisions. When we could play short, we played long. When we could have played long, we played short. We couldn't find a real rhythm in our game. And even in defending, it took us too long to make decisions to go as a block into the high press. We spent way too much time in a low block, which is also not our identity and not what we wanted to have. The leads, both leads, didn't make us more free. It had more the impression we have to protect something now. Got punished for it, which is psychologically not easy. But I loved the reaction after the half time. We encouraged them to go for it, to play with more courage, to be brave, to be ourselves. And like I said, I loved the reaction. We created a lot of chances. We had a lot of ball wins. We scored goals. And overall, I think we deserve to win. There is still things to improve. I think this is also quite normal after a first match. You need to grow into a tournament. We got a tough draw to start against Croatia. So the positives are clearly the ones where we focus on now and enjoy the moment, and we have enough days to adjust what needs to be improved.
The possibility of Rashford returning has immediately captured attention because it represents more than just a transfer story. It is a story about unfinished business. Throughout football history, some of the most emotional transfers have involved players returning to clubs where they previously enjoyed success. Supporters often dream of seeing familiar faces back at Old Trafford, particularly players who understand the culture, expectations and demands that come with representing Manchester United. At the same time, reports involving Crescencio Summerville have added another fascinating dimension to the story. The talented winger has developed a reputation as one of the most exciting attacking players available. Known for his pace, dribbling ability and willingness to take on defenders, Summerville possesses qualities that could bring a fresh spark to Manchester United's attack. Modern football places enormous value on players capable of creating moments of magic in 1-versus-1 situations, and Summerville has demonstrated that ability consistently. What makes this potential double deal particularly interesting is how the two players could complement each other. Rashford's experience at the highest level combined with Summerville's energy and directness could provide Manchester United with a more dynamic attacking setup. Supporters have often called for additional creativity and unpredictability in the final third, and these reports suggest the club may be exploring exactly that possibility. Michael Carrick's influence on the transfer strategy has become a major talking point among fans. As someone who understands Manchester United's identity better than most, Carrick knows the standards required to compete for trophies. His reputation for intelligent football and calm leadership has generated optimism among supporters who believe he could help guide the club toward a brighter future. One of the biggest challenges facing any Manchester United manager is balancing immediate success with long-term development. The club's history demands results, but modern football also requires careful planning and sustainable squad building. A move involving both Rashford and Summerville would represent an interesting combination of proven quality and future potential. The Premier League continues to become increasingly competitive every season. Clubs across England are investing heavily in strengthening their squads with elite talent. Manchester United know that standing still is not an option. If they want to challenge for major honours once again, they must continue improving key areas of the team. Adding attacking reinforcements would be viewed by many supporters as a significant step in that direction. Social media has been flooded with reactions since the reports emerged. Some fans are excited by the prospect of Rashford wearing the famous red shirt once again, while others are intrigued by the possibility of Summerville adding pace and flair to the attack. The combination of nostalgia and excitement has created one of the most discussed transfer stories involving Manchester United this summer. Another factor contributing to the interest is the tactical flexibility these players could provide. Rashford is capable of playing across multiple attacking positions and has extensive experience at the highest level. Summerville's ability to stretch defenses and create opportunities through individual skill would offer additional options for the coaching staff. Together, they could help create a more versatile and dangerous attacking unit. Football transfers often generate excitement because they represent possibility. Every new signing brings hope, ambition and the belief that better days are ahead. For Manchester United supporters, the idea of Rashford returning alongside another exciting attacking talent has naturally fueled dreams of what the future could look like. The financial aspects of any potential deal remain a topic of discussion.